Cain, the Superman of the people. In the vast mythology of Superman, a legacy of capes, ideals, and impossible standards, Cain's portrayal stands as one of the most human. At a time when superhero media was in flux, Cain helped redefine the Man of Steel for a new generation. His Superman didn't just leap tall buildings. He also made small talk, laughed, stumbled through relationships, and showed the vulnerable side of a nearly invincible hero. Cain first donned the cape in 1993 with Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, a romantic action dramedy that premiered at the peak of 90s network television. From the very beginning, the show flipped the usual formula. It wasn't about Superman saving the world. It was about Clark Kent trying to live in it. Executive producer Deborah Joy Levine deliberately pitched the series as Moonlighting Meets Superman, anchoring the fantasy with a fresh focus on character dynamics, especially the electric chemistry between Cain and Terry Hatcher's Lois Lane. Cain, then a relative newcomer and former Princeton football star, won the role over more than 1,300 other hopefuls. He didn't try to channel the stoic gravitas of Christopher Reeve. Instead, he brought charm, accessibility, and humor. As Cain once said in an interview, "I always felt Clark was the real person. Superman was the costume. That's how I played him." Across 4 seasons and 87 episodes, Cain's Superman evolved, not through cosmic battles, but through his growing emotional complexity. The first season toyed with the will-they-won't-they tension between Lois and Clark, but it was the second and third seasons that truly explored the depth of Cain's performance. Clark's dual identity stopped being a gimmick and became a burden, a secret that weighed on love, friendship, and the simple desire to live a normal life. And when the show finally gave viewers the long-awaited wedding of Lois and Clark, it felt earned not because Superman saved the day, but because Clark finally could share his truth. Behind the scenes, Cain's series arrived at a pivotal point in the character's legacy. It debuted 6 years after Reeve's final outing as Superman, and just 1 year after the Superboy TV series concluded. At the time, it stood alone as the only live-action Superman story on television. While the series didn't plunge deeply into comic book canon, it offered knowing nods, introducing characters like Tempest and Lex Luthor with a grounded, often playfully campy spin. John Shea's Lex wasn't a mad scientist or futuristic warlord. He was a suave, calculating corporate predator, reimagined for a more contemporary world. But for all its pop appeal, the show had its struggles. Creative shifts in the later seasons, like cloning Lois or introducing increasingly outlandish sci-fi plots, left fans divided. ABC pulled the plug after the 4th season, abruptly ending the series with a mysterious baby left on the couple's doorstep. It was an unceremonious goodbye to a character Cain had molded with care. Yet Cain never truly stepped away from the cape. Over the decades, he returned to the Superman mythos multiple times, just not as the Man of Steel. He appeared in Smallville as Dr. Curtis Knox, a villain loosely inspired by Vandal Savage. Later, in the Arrowverse, he played Jeremiah Danvers, foster father to Supergirl, opposite Helen Slater, another Superman legacy actor. These appearances weren't just cameos. They were nods to Cain's enduring place in the multi-generational Superman family. In interviews, Cain has remained both grateful and grounded about his time as Clark. He said, "I never saw Superman as a god. He was just a guy who happened to have incredible powers, and he used them to help, because that's who he was at heart." It's that philosophy that set him apart from other portrayals. Where Reeve was the ideal, Routh the echo, and Cavill the godlike outsider, Cain was the everyman. His Clark was someone you could imagine grabbing a cup of coffee with or bumping into at the Daily Planet elevator. That sense of approachability is Cain's greatest contribution to the legacy. He democratized Superman. He made the character accessible, not just to comic diehards, but to casual viewers, to romantics, to anyone who wondered what it would be like to live a double life. He walked the line between myth and sitcom, between Krypton and Kansas, with surprising ease. Critics may debate where Cain stands among Superman greats. He didn't have the cinematic scale of Reeve or the raw gravitas of Cavill. He never lifted continents or screamed into black holes. But Cain's Superman did something perhaps more radical. He learned how to love, how to laugh, how to hurt, And in that, he embodied the alien who just wanted to be human. In the ever-expanding Superverse, Dean Cain remains a pillar. Not the tallest, not the strongest, but perhaps the most relatable. And sometimes, being the Superman who makes us feel seen is the most heroic act of all.